Hello, my name is Doris and I am Little Bird Products. Welcome back if you've been here before, and welcome if you're new here. And please subscribe if you haven't done so already. It doesn't cost anything and you'll get notified every time I post a new video. And today is an exciting day. This was an exciting week. Yesterday I was fully monetized. That means I got over my 4,000 watch hours and I have over 1,000 subscribers, which is fantastic. That was one of my goals for the year, was to be fully monetized. Now, that is just the first step and it is just the beginning. Other than creating a channel and posting on a regular basis and having an audience of like-minded people that enjoy watching my yattering and my videos. For me, it's been a wonderful experience so far, and more to come as I post more videos and more people find me and enjoy watching and understanding and learning from my tutorials. It's part of my life plan for the last quarter, what I'm calling it the fourth quarter, because I am 77 now. In the last 2 years, when I entered my fourth quarter, I started doing YouTube and multiple other things, and starting what I call my give back, where I try to share the things I do and show other people how to do it, how to upcycle, how to upsize our clothes, because as we get older, sometimes we outgrow our clothes, like I have. And like with what I'm wearing today, which you can't see, I have a pair of bloomers on that I made myself, and I upcycled this little top. I love the tops with the ruffles. I don't know if you can see that. It has ruffles on it, and it has a butterfly on the back. Anyway, it's one of my favorite tops. Maybe I'll do a little dance at the end and show you what I'm wearing. And I love, upcycling and upsizing clothes and sharing with people what I do. Another not so momentous decision happening this week. For those of you who followed along, you know that my friend Tammy, my sewing protege, and I started doing Whatnot as another selling platform. And we started that about a month ago. Well, we made a decision this week. Whatnot is not going to be a platform for us. We decided that not right now for Whatnot. It is a better platform for people who are what I call, thrifters, pickers, whatever, who have used clothing or they want to do a closet clean out. Not really for us upcyclers yet. There are a few successful upcyclers that are selling their goods on Whatnot, and bless them, they're doing a great job. But we really like Etsy, and it's been a great selling platform for us. We can command a better price on Etsy because people understand handmade goods and what goes into the making of them. Right now, for us, what we seem to be finding is that Whatnot and the auction platform, by and large, people are looking mainly for a giveaway. They're looking for bargains. They're not so much shopping for upcycled or handmade clothes. While Whatnot as a platform, when it continues its life's journey and they continue to mature the platform, perhaps one day it will be a competitor for Etsy. But Etsy really is known for handmade. And people who upcycle things like we do, it's just a better selling platform for us, we feel. That's in our opinion. And also, it's a lot of work on Whatnot. Not that Etsy isn't a lot of work when you're actually having to devote time, hours of a day. And, we tried to do our shows at least every other week very consistently. Some people on Whatnot do several shows a week, and I don't know how they have the time to do that. But for us, we just really don't have the time to do that. We'd rather spend our time being creative as opposed to being show people. They do call them Whatnot shows for a reason. You want to have your personality there. You need to have a place to do it. You need to be set up. And it did take, it takes hours preparing for the show, deciding what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, if you're going to list your things, not. Anyway, I could go through a whole list, a whole show a whole video perhaps on our learning, our takeaways from learning from Whatnot. I'd be happy to do that. If you're interested in it, please let me know. But the real decision this week was that Whatnot was not for us. However, I am not sad that we did it, and it was a learning experience. And one of the things I like to do every year is I like to learn something new, and I learned a lot about Whatnot as a platform, and there was a lot to learn, and I'm sure there was a lot more that I could have learned if I stayed on it. But it's like investing that amount of time and effort in something that really did not have a return for us. At this time, it didn't make sense. And one of the reasons that I wanted to do Whatnot wasn't just for my upcycled things, but it was also I have a nice backstock of what I call my raw materials inventory. And I have been on Poshmark for several years, and I've done relatively well. I don't post that much on Poshmark. And for those of you who don't know what Poshmark is, it's a reselling platform, much like Whatnot. It's not auction, it's more like Etsy in that you put your things out there and you can sell your used or vintage clothing or, home goods, whatever, you wish. So what I'm going to do is go back and list my things that what we called our thrifted items that were too nice to cut up. I'm going to spend the time to promote those and list them on Poshmark because I have a relatively large following on Poshmark already. So I have a built-in community and audience there. So that's the decision we've made, and we're going to move forward. Now, with all of that said, I did have time this week because I canceled all our future Whatnot shows. We did do our show this week on Wednesday. So that did cut into my time to make. I had a friend who wanted to buy a summer vest from me. She wanted to have me make a vest. Well, I did. I took pictures of the denim vest that I had and let her pick one she wanted me to upcycle. And she's a tiny little lady. And so I did not upsize it. I just upcycled it. I put lace on the bottom of it and, some vintage trim. And it was unfortunately a little bit too small for her. So I told her that was fine. That's not a problem. So I gave her a choice of how I could upcycle it. So one of the things I like to do when I upsize vests is I open the arm seams like I do for other things. And then what I do is I have a piece of vintage ribbon that I'm going to put, I haven't finished it yet, vintage flowered ribbon that I'm going to put to make the armhole wider. And then underneath it, I'm going to use some of the same lace that I used for the ruffle on the bottom. Fortunately, I had some of that left. And I put an inset of that lace, and I'll gather that lace and attach it to the ribbon and then sew the sides, to the vest. And then I decided while I'm at it, I might as well put some vintage lace, around the neck for trim. So I have a piece of vintage lace that I'm going to do with that. And I will show you that vest in the end. And I think it probably will almost fit me. So maybe I'll do a little dancing video around that. So I wanted to share my good news, not so good news with you, and then also show you how I upcycle some of my vests. So enjoy. Sorry it's going to be a short one this week because I have been busy. Next week I hope to get a lot more done, and I do need to get my craft room organized. Oh, that's another thing I wanted to ask you. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see a video of my entire craft room studio, because it sort of is my entire house, because I use my office here to make my videos and do some of my bookkeeping, and I take my pictures here. I have my sewing room. I have what I call my design room. Then I have my guest bedroom closet and my closet. I'm not going to show you that, but I will tell you that it's full of jackets that I've thrifted. And I also have my large cutting table in my large cutting room and where I store my raw goods inventory. Some people call it their garage, but because my garage has never seen a car, I'm just going to call it my large storage room, cutting table room. And that's where a lot of the magic happens. But here in Houston area in the summer, starting now, that doesn't get as much use. I don't like to use electricity to turn on the air conditioner. I do have a portable air conditioner out there that's hooked into my system. So if it gets really stinking hot and I need to be out there cutting something that's too large to cut on my small cutting table in my sewing room, I will go out there and turn the fan on in the morning and spend some time there. But I'd be happy to show you what everything looks like. If you would like to have me make a video of that, I'd be happy to do so. Let me know in the comments. Enjoy, and thank you for watching. Bye. I wanted to show you well, I call it a mock-up for now, of the vest that I'm making for the friend of mine. And I need to upcycle it and make it a little bit larger. And so what I did, I already had the lace ruffle on the bottom of the vest. And what I did is I opened up the armholes, and I have a piece of flowered vintage ribbon that I'm going to put across here. And then this is a leftover piece of the lace. And I'm doing this on both sides to widen it a little bit. And it'll make it a little wider than what she needs, but then what'll happen is this will drape down a little and it'll be a little more gathered on the sides. So let me show you the back of the vest. The vest is super cute. This is the one she chose, and it's about, and this is the other side with the ribbon, the vintage ribbon. And then what I decided to do is I'm going to put this piece of lace around the front because I think it matches these little daisies that are on the pockets so well. So I'm going to put the ribbon on, gather the lace and put it on the sides, then sew it so that it's attached on the sides, and it'll be attached to the ribbon, and it'll be nice because I think this will be a little wider than what she needs, which is nice. It'll be comfortable for her because she's from Costa Rica, and she spends part of her time at her home here in Houston and part of her time in Costa Rica. So this will fit for the warm weather in both places, and even when the weather's a little chillier, she can wear a turtleneck or some long sleeves underneath this and wear this lightweight vest. She's very petite, so I think this will look really, really nice on her. And I hope she loves it as much as I do. So I'm going to finish stitching, and then I will take some finished pictures for you.